It's not just the right that does this, because I've known a lot of, elite Northeast establishment liberals that may not use this as a business model, but deep down, when they look at a guy like me, they see a guy automatically who belongs in the second tier and not the top tier. And
why do you say that? Give me an example. Because you're a Cuban American.
I had a guy who works here at CNN, who's a top brass, come to me one day and say, you know what? I don't want
you wash this dish.
I don't want you. No. It was. See, that's the thing. It's more subtle, and white folks usually don't see it, but we do. Okay, those of us who are minorities, and women see it sometimes too, from men in authority. Here, I'll give you my example. It's this. You know what? I don't want you anchoring anymore. I really don't see you as an anchor. I see you more as a reporter. I see you more as a John Quinones. You know, the guy on ABC? That's what he told me. He told me he saw me as John Quinones. Now, did he not realize that he was telling me, when I see you, I think of Hispanic reporters? Because in his mind, I can't be an anchor. An anchor's what you give the high-profile white guys, you know? So he knocks me down to that and compares me to that. And it happens all the time. I think to a certain extent, Jon Stewart and Colbert are the same way. I think Jon Stewart's a bigot. I think he looks...
Jon Stewart's a bigot. Hold on. Now we're going to get into it. Jon Stewart, my old boss, my friend.
Yeah, I think he's a bigot.
How is he a bigot?
I think he looks at the world through... his mom, who was a school teacher, and his dad, who was a physicist or something like that. Great. I'm so happy that he grew up in a suburban, middle-class New Jersey home with everything that you could ever imagine.
What group is he bigoted towards?
Everybody else who's not like him. Look at his show. I mean, what does he surround himself with?
But listen, he picks on Jews all the time. He's a Jew.
Yeah.
He focuses on them. I think he overcompensates to some extent. I always notice that.
Yeah.
He goes after himself
by the way,
and people like him and everybody else. I disagree with you, and I defy you to give me a specific example.
Let me give you an example of what I mean about that, by the way. I don't necessarily think...
Pretty strong words calling Jon Stewart a bigot. Calling anybody a bigot. Give me an example.
That's what happens when you watch yourself on his show every day and all they ever do is call you stupid. You see,
well, if he's bigoted against the ignorant, fine. If he's bigoted against the apathetic and he's being elitist saying that others are stupid, but what group specifically? Call someone a bigot against who?
Anybody who's different than you are. Anybody who's not from your frame of reference. Anybody who doesn't look and sound exactly like the people that you sound and grew up with. The people that you put on your show who always reflect somebody who's I'm bringing in to sit around me, you know, who's very different from me. I mean, I'm sorry, but I just don't buy this thing that the only people out there who are prejudiced, all right? The only people out there who are prejudiced are the right. There's people who are prejudiced on both sides.
But you're not giving me a specific example. You're saying he's bigoted towards people who aren't like him. His guests come from he has the most right-wing...
I think...
Don't you point your Sharpie at me, Sanchez. Don't you take your Sharpie out.
I think Jon's show is essentially prejudicial. I think that Jon's show
against who?
Against anybody who doesn't agree with his point of view, which is very much a white, liberal establishment point of view. He can't relate to a guy like me. He can't relate to a guy whose dad worked all his life. He can't relate to somebody who grew up poor.
He can't relate to somebody.
Whoa. No, he can't.
He's a stand-up comedian.
No, he's not. According to Time Magazine, he's the guy that most Americans trust for news.
Whatever. He's a stand-up comedian.
But it's not whatever.
No, it's not. You just said he can't relate to people like you. Rick, hold on. Rick, I'm a stand-up comedian. I've been a stand-up comedian for 15 years. It's a really, really difficult job. It's filled with failure. It's filled with travel. It's filled with hard work. We might not be out there doing, physical labor and like your dad did, but I don't think it's fair to define.
No. He
worked
you're
very hard.
You're right.
I'm telling you, he puts in 12 hours a day on that show.
You're right.
And his staff respects him, and I don't agree with that. I don't know his parents.
You're right. I'm not saying.
I worked for him.
No, wait. You've misunderstood me. I'm not saying that he doesn't.
He can't relate to people who work hard.
No, he can't relate to what I grew up with. Absolutely not.
Fair. But that's not fair to say because he didn't have your life experience, he's not somehow on your level. It's not his fault. We can't just say.
No, it's that he looks at me as not being on his level. Yeah.
I think you're holding a grudge because he picked on you.
I'm telling you.
Didn't you fire up on at Colbert last week?
I can't remember.
Didn't you take a shot at Colbert? You guys are crazy.
I must have at some point. But yeah, look, my point is very simple. I see stuff O'Reilly and Glenn Beck do, and I say, wow. That's very discriminatory. That's very prejudicial. And I look at stuff that Colbert and Jon Stewart do, and I think, wow, that's very prejudicial. So, we have a tendency to only look at one side. I'm saying we ought to be able to look at both sides.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
I certainly agree with that, but here...
If we're going to call one side bigoted, we probably got to look at the other side and say
I'd be careful with the word bigot. I'd be
careful.
careful.
I'll take the word bigot back. I'll say prejudicial.
Look at what I did here.
Uninformed. Because Mark Twain said that you don't really become a man until you've had a child, planted a tree, and written a book. And that stuck with me a long, long time ago, and I've always wanted to write a book. And because I'm not...
And because you know you can sell it
wait,
on your TV show.
Wait, let me get back to the Jon Stewart thing. You ready?
You've said enough.
Here's my... Wait, I'm not done.
Rick Sanchez called Jon Stewart a bigot. It's going viral.
Okay, it's not bigot. It's prejudicial.
But
prejudicial. Here's the other point about that. Now, what the hell was I going to say? I was going to talk...
You said you want to go back to Jon Stewart.
I have a lot to say, and I think I have a lot to say because of my life experiences, because of what I've done in my life, because of the way I've grown up, because of my failures, because of my successes, all of that. And when you turn on a show or listen to someone's writings and they minimize you and treat you like you don't matter, like you're just a dumb, like you're a dumb jock or a dumb woman or a dumb Puerto Rican or a dumb Cuban or another dumb Mexican, which is the way I feel whenever I watch Jon Stewart, I can't help but say, and then you just asked me why I wrote this book. I wrote this book because I want people to know that I don't just sit there and read the teleprompter. Now, here's my second point on that. If I did just sit there and read
the book is written on a teleprompter.
If I did, shut up. If I did just sit there and read the teleprompter every day, Jon Stewart would never say anything about me. He'd say I'm a good Hispanic actor. Way to go! You've done a good job.
But you know
Stay right there.
I'm fine.
I don't like that.
I wouldn't either. I wouldn't like it if someone made fun of me or discouraged or was.
No, make fun of me. But I am a complex human being. I'm not some moron to be.
Why are you being so sensitive? Why do you?
Because I'm tired of it.
But he's an entertainer. But
no, he's not.
Rick, you're going to tell me right now that The Daily Show has not been extremely important in our conversation. You're going to tell me The Daily Show hasn't literally made news pointing out hypocrisy when Democrats and Republicans...
Yeah, that's my other problem with them. Here's what they do. This is the game they play. I just picked on Fox News because they just had a bold-faced lie about something. So, damn it, that means I got to find something on CNN. Oh, I know. Wait, let me finish. Wait, hold on. Let me find, that Rick Sanchez, the little Puerto Rican guy. I'll make fun of him. Do you have anything? Yeah, last week he mispronounced the word indubitably or whatever. Yeah, that's it. Find me that, and we'll do a whole 4-minute segment on how stupid he is because he can't pronounce the word arithmetic.
Rick,
and you know they do that.
They do it.
They try and take two. It's just what you said that you shouldn't do. When you should call things as they are. You shouldn't have somebody.
Comedian.
No, he's not a comedian.
Of course he is.
That's a cop-out. He's not just a comedian. Time Magazine says more people get their news from that guy than anybody else.
Because he makes a good job.
He can make and break careers.
Because they're actually. He can't move.
I don't care. I don't.
Whose career is he broken? Jim Cramer's? He destroyed Jim Cramer's. Jim Cramer hurt him?
I don't know. How's Jim Cramer doing these days?
He's still the flagship at CNBC.
Well, I don't like dishonesty. That's it. That's all I'm saying.
Hold on a second. You're talking about, he calls me whatever Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
If you chart how many times he's picked on Latinos versus how many times he's picked on the population he comes from.
He wouldn't pick on me if I didn't matter. He wouldn't pick on if I was
if
just.
You didn't matter,
If I was just the Hispanic guy who read the news at CNN and paid attention and just read the teleprompter every day very carefully and never said anything, never had a personality. Then I'd be fine. He wouldn't pick on me. He's upset that someone of my ilk is at almost his level. I'm sorry. That's my impression. Why would a guy constantly berate you night in and night out?
Because you're an easy target. He does it with everybody, but he doesn't do it.
What is it about me that makes me an easy target?
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, I think I do.
Which you think it has to do with your
ethnicity? I think he is one of those left-wing elite